Hello friends, in this video let us discuss about the Indian public health standards given for the sub-center. As we all know that the National Rural Health Mission NRHM was launched in India on 12th April 2005 with the main aim to restructure the delivery mechanism for health to provide universal access to equitable, affordable and quality healthcare responsive to the people's needs. This mission seeks to provide effective healthcare to the rural population throughout the country with a special focus on the states as well as union territories which have weak public health indicators and weak infrastructure. Towards this end, the public health standards for sub-centers as well as primary health centers, community health centers, sub-district as well as district hospitals were published in January and February 2007 and have been used as a reference point for public healthcare infrastructure planning and upgradation in the states as well as union territories. This IPHS standards are a set of uniform standards envisaged to improve the quality of healthcare delivery in the community. These IPHS guidelines will act as the main drive for continuous improvement in quality and serve as the benchmark for assessing the functional status of health facilities. States as well as union territories should adopt these IPHS guidelines for strengthening the public healthcare institutions and put in their best efforts to achieve high quality of healthcare across the country. Let us see the objectives of IPHS. The first objective is to specify the minimum assured or essential services that sub-center is expected to provide and the desirable services which the states and union territories should aspire to provide through this facility. To maintain an acceptable quality of health care for these services. To facilitate monitoring and supervision of these facilities. To make the services provided more accountable and responsive to people's needs. Categorization of sub-centers. Sub-centers have been categorized into two types, Type A sub-centers and Type B sub-centers based on various factors, namely the catchment area, health-seeking behavior, caseload, location of other facilities like primary health center, community health center, first referral unit, hospitals in the vicinity of the sub-center. The categorization helps in optimum use of available resources. Let us see the Type A sub-centers. Type A sub-centers will provide all recommended services except that the facilities for conducting delivery will not be available here. So except conducting delivery, rest all services will be provided in Type A sub-centers. However, the ANMs have been trained in midwifery. They may conduct normal delivery in case of need. So wherever the facilities are not available like FRU, primary health center, community health center, so midwifery will be trained to conduct home deliveries, that too in case of emergency. The sub-centers in the following situations may be included in this category, that is Type A sub-center. Sub-centers not having adequate space and physical infrastructure for conducting deliveries. However, in case as we all discussed that in case of sub-centers located in remote areas, difficulty areas, hilly, desert or tribal areas where the transport facility is likely to be poor and the population is still dependent on these sub-centers for availing delivery facilities. In such situations, ANM would be required to conduct deliveries at homes, and ANMs of these subcenters should mandatorily be skilled birth attendant or she is a trained person. Subcenters situated in the vicinity of other higher health facilities like PHC, CHC, FRU, hospitals where delivery facilities are available. So these type of centers will be added to type A subcenters. And subcenters in headquarter area, that means already there will be availability of healthcare facilities. So these subcenters will be included in type A. Subcenters where at present no delivery or occasional delivery may be taking place, that is very low caseload of deliveries. If the caseload increases, these subcenters also should be considered for upgradation to type B subcenters. Let us see the staff recommended in type A subcenters. 1. ANM should be essential. And then 2 ANMs. It is desirable to split the population between them, and one of them provides outreach services and the other is available at the subcenter. And then 1 health worker male should be essential, that is to provide sanitation services through outsourcing on part-time basis. Let us see type B subcenters or MCH subcenters. So this would include the following types of subcenters. So centrally or better located subcenters with good connectivity to the catchment areas. They have good physical infrastructure, preferably with own buildings, adequate space, residential accommodation and labor room facilities. They already have good caseload of deliveries from the catchment areas. There are no nearby higher level delivery facilities. And type B subcenter will provide all recommended services including facilities for conducting deliveries at the subcenter itself. They will be expected to conduct around 20 deliveries in a month. They should be provided with all labor room facilities and equipment including newborn care corner. And ANMs of these subcenters should be trained. These centers may be provided with extra equipment, extra drugs, supplies, materials, 2 beds and budget for smooth functioning of these subcenters. If number of deliveries is 20 or more in a month, then additional 2 beds also will be provided. Staff recommended in type B subcenters: 2 ANMs and 1 health worker, 1 staff nurse or ANM if it is desired. Sanitation services should be provided through outsourcing on full-time basis. Services to be provided in a subcenter includes: subcenters are expected to provide promotive, preventive and few curative primary healthcare services. Keeping in view of the changing epidemiological situation in the country, both types of subcenters should lay emphasis on non-communicable diseases related services also. The site of service delivery may be at the following places: in the village health and nutrition day or immunization session. So during these sessions, healthcare services need to be provided. During every house visit also healthcare services need to be rendered. During house to house surveys. During meetings and events with the community and at the facility premises. So in all these places healthcare facilities need to be provided. And it is desirable that the subcenter should provide minimum of 6 hours of routine OPD services in a day for 6 days in a week. And the services have been classified as essential services and desirable services. Essential services means at least minimum assured services. So that means that all states and union territories should aspire to provide these services. So the services includes maternal and child health care services. So let us see maternal health services. It includes antenatal care. So essentially, early registration of all pregnancies within first trimester, that means before 12th week of pregnancy should takes place. And however, even if a woman comes late in her pregnancy for registration also, she should be registered and care should be given to her according to the gestational age. And minimum 4 antenatal checkups including registration. Suggested schedule for antenatal visits includes: the first visit should be within 12 weeks, preferably as soon as pregnancy is suspected. For registration, history and first antenatal checkup should take place. The second visit should be between 14 and 26 weeks. The third visit should be between 28 and 34 weeks. And the fourth visit should be between 36 weeks and a term. And associated services includes like general physical examination such as height, weight, BP, and test for anemia, abdominal examination, breast examination, and folic acid supplementation, that too in first trimester, iron and folic acid supplementation from 12 weeks, injection, tetanus toxoid, treatment of anemia, etc. So as per the guidelines for antenatal care and skilled attendance at birth by ANM and LHV. Recording tobacco use by all antenatal mothers. Minimum laboratory investigations like urine test for pregnancy confirmation, hemoglobin estimation, urine for albumin and sugar, and linkages with the primary health centers for other required tests. And name-based tracking of all pregnant women for assured service delivery. And identification of high-risk pregnancy cases. Identification and management of danger signs during pregnancy. Malaria prophylaxis in malaria endemic zones for pregnant women as per the guidelines given by National Vector-Borne Disease Control Program. Appropriate and timely referral of such identified cases which are beyond her capacity of management. Counseling on diet, rest, tobacco cessation if the antenatal mother is a smoker or tobacco user, and information about dangers of exposure to second-hand smoke and minor problems during pregnancy, advice on institutional deliveries, pre-birth preparedness and complication readiness, danger signs, clean and safe delivery at home if called for, postnatal care and hygiene, nutrition, care of newborn, registration of birth, initiation of breastfeeding, exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months, demand feeding, supplementary feeding, that is weaning and starting semi-solid and solid food from 6 months onwards, infant and young child feeding and contraception. And provide information about provisions under current schemes and programs like Janani Suraksha Yojana. And identify suspected reproductive tract infections or sexually transmitted infections case, provide counseling, basic management and referral services. And counseling and referral for HIV or AIDS. Name-based tracking of missed and left out antenatal care cases. So next services during intranatal period includes promotion of institutional deliveries, skilled attendance at home deliveries when called for, appropriate and timely referral of high-risk cases which are beyond her capacity of management, and managing labor using partograph, identification and management of danger signs during labor, and proficient in identification and basic first aid treatment for postpartum hemorrhage, eclampsia, sepsis, and prompt referral of such cases as per antenatal care and skilled birth attendance at birth or SBA guidelines. Minimum 24 hours of stay of mother and baby after delivery at subcenter. The environment at the subcenter should be clean and safe for both mother as well as baby. Postnatal care includes identification of early breastfeeding within 1 hour of after birth. Ensure postnatal home visits on 0, 3 and 7th day and 42nd day for deliveries at home and subcenter both for mother as well as baby. And ensure 3, 7 and 42nd day visit for institutional deliveries both for the mother as well as baby. In case of low birth weight baby, that is if the birth weight of baby is less than 2.5 kg, additional visits are to be made on 14, 21 and 28th days as well. And during postnatal visit, advice regarding care of the mother and care and feeding of the newborn and examination of the newborn for signs of sickness and congenital abnormalities as per IMNCI guidelines and appropriate referral if needed. And counseling on diet and rest, hygiene, contraception, essential newborn care, immunization, infant and young child feeding and care for STI or RTI and HIV or AIDS. And name-based tracking of missed and left out postnatal cases. Child healthcare services includes newborn care corner in the labor room to provide essential newborn care is essential if the deliveries are taking place at the subcenter. And essential newborn care, that is maintain the body temperature and prevent hypothermia, provision of warmth, provision of kangaroo mother care, maintain the airway and breathing, initiate breastfeeding within 1 hour, infection protection, cord care and care of eyes as per the guidelines of antenatal care and skilled attendance at birth by ANMs and lady health visitor. Postnatal visits as mentioned under postnatal care. Counseling on exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months and appropriate and adequate complementary feeding from 6 months of age while continuing breastfeeding. Assess the growth and development of the infants and under 5 children and make timely referral. Immunization services includes full immunization of all infants and children against vaccine preventable diseases as per guidelines of Government of India. Vitamin A prophylaxis to the children as per national guidelines. Prevention and control of childhood diseases like malnutrition, infections, acute respiratory tract infections, diarrhea, fever, anemia, including IMNCI strategy. Name-based tracking of all infants and children to ensure full immunization coverage. And identification and follow-up, referral and reporting of adverse events following immunization. Family planning and contraception services includes education, motivation and counseling to adopt appropriate family planning methods. Provision of contraceptives such as condoms, oral pills, emergency contraceptives, intrauterine contraceptive devices, insertion. So, wherever the ANM is trained in IUCD, insertion. Follow-up services to the eligible couples adopting any family planning methods may be terminal or spacing methods. And safe abortion services. Medical termination of pregnancy services includes counseling and appropriate referral for safe abortion services for those in need. And follow-up for any complication after abortion or MTP and appropriate referral if needed. Curative services includes provide treatment for minor ailments including fever, diarrhea, ARI, worm infestation and first aid including first aid to animal bite cases, wound care, tourniquet, then assessment and referral. appropriate and prompt referral services, provide treatment as per Ayush, as per the local need. ANMs and multi-purpose worker male should be trained in basic Ayush drugs. Once a month clinic by PHC medical officer, lady health visitor, and then health worker male and ANM should be available for providing assistance. Adolescent healthcare services includes education, counseling and referral services, prevention and treatment of anemia, counseling on harmful effects of tobacco and its cessation, and provide information about provisions under current schemes and programs like Janani Suraksha Yojana, and identify suspected reproductive tract infections or sexually transmitted infections case, provide counseling, basic management and referral services, and counseling and referral for HIV or control of local endemic diseases includes assisting in detection, control and reporting of local endemic diseases such as malaria, Kala Azar, Japanese encephalitis, filariasis, dengue, etc. Assistance in control of epidemic outbreaks as per program guidelines. Appropriate and timely referral of such identified cases which are beyond her capacity of management. Counseling on diet, rest, tobacco cessation if the antenatal mother is a smoker or tobacco user, and information about dangers of exposure to second-hand smoke and minor problems during pregnancy, advice on institutional deliveries, pre-birth preparedness and complication readiness, danger signs, guidelines, water and sanitation facilities including disinfection of drinking water resources, promotion of sanitation including use of toilets and appropriate garbage disposal, the national health programs, active participation in national health programs including communicable diseases like National AIDS Control Program, condom promotion and distribution of condoms to the high-risk groups, help and guide patients with HIV or AIDS receiving ART with focus on adherence, IEC activities to enhance awareness and preventive measures about STIs and HIV AIDS, PPT-CT services and HIV-TB coordination, and HIV STI counseling, screening and referral in type B subcenters. Let us see the type A subcenters. Type A subcenters will provide all recommended services except that the facilities for conducting delivery will not be available here. So except conducting delivery, rest all services will be provided in National Leprosy Eradication Program, health education to community regarding signs and symptoms of leprosy, its complication and its cure, referral of suspected cases of leprosy, provision of subsequent doses of multi-drug therapy and follow-up of persons under treatment. Revised National Tuberculosis Control Program includes referral of suspected symptomatic cases to the PHC or microscopy centers, provision of DOTS therapy at subcenter, proper documentation and follow-up. Care should be taken to ensure compliance and completion of treatment in all cases. Adequate drinking water should be ensured at subcenter for taking the drug. Services to be provided in a subcenter includes subcenters are expected to provide promotive, preventive and few curative primary healthcare services. Keeping in view of the changing epidemiological situation in the country, both types of subcenters should lay emphasis on non-communicable diseases related services also. The site of service delivery may be at the following: National Program for Prevention and Control of Deafness includes detection of cases of hearing impairment and deafness during house-to-house survey and their appropriate referral. Awareness regarding ear problems, early detection and deafness, available treatment and healthcare facilities for referral of such cases. Education of community, especially the parents of young children, regarding the importance of right feeding practices. National Mental Health Program includes identification and referral of common mental illnesses for treatment and follow them up in the community. IEC activities. National Program for Prevention and Control of Cancer, Diabetes, Cardiovascular Diseases and Stroke. IEC activities provided regarding these programs. National Iodine Deficiency Disorders Control Program. IEC activities to promote consumption of iodized salt by the community. In fluorosis affected areas, that is endemic areas, identify the persons at risk of fluorosis, suffering from fluorosis and those having deformities due to fluorosis as well as its referral. National Tobacco Control Program. Spread awareness and health education regarding ill effects of tobacco use, especially in pregnant females and non-communicable diseases where tobacco is a risk factor. And display of mandatory signals of no smoking in the subcenter. And regarding oral health, health education on oral health and hygiene, especially to antenatal and lactating mothers, school and adolescent children. Providing first aid and referral services for cases with oral health problems. National Program for Healthcare of Elderly. Counseling of elderly persons and their family members on healthy aging. Referral of sick old persons to PHCs. Promotion of medicinal herbs. Locally available medicinal herbs plants should be grown around the subcenter as per the guidelines of Department of Ayush. Recording of vital events. Recording and reporting of vital events including births and deaths, particularly of mothers and infants, to the health authorities. And waste disposal. Infection management and environment plan guidelines for healthcare workers for waste management and infection control in subcenters of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India are to be followed. Other supportive services includes laboratory services. Electricity supply should be there, that is uninterrupted power supply has to be ensured, for which inverter facility or solar power facility should be provided. Water facility, portable water supply should be there. Telephone services should be available. And assured referral linkages with other hospitals. Toilet facility should be available. And waste disposal facility within the subcenter. Record maintenance and reporting. And internal mechanism, supportive supervision and record checking at periodic intervals by the male and female health workers. And external mechanisms include subcenters will be under the oversight of Grama Panchayats. So this is about Indian Public Health Standards Guidelines for Maintenance of Subcenters. Thank you.